Hi everybody, happy 4 o'clock moment. We're doing another Meet the Creator series with Nicole and Aaron Wood of Emerald City Genetics today. And I'll be joined today by Lele if her service and connection is good, or her cell service where she is today is good. And here we go, Emerald City Farms. Inviting you up. New people on here. Welcome. Today we're going to have a fun conversation with Nicole and Aaron. Hi guys, how's it going? You having a good day up there? Doing great. I'm over in Fieldbrook in the Humboldt Bay area. See if we can get Layla.
Hoping we have a good on this sunny
day.
Yeah, sun's shining here. It's a beautiful day today.
I can't see outside, it's too bright.
Wonderful. Where are you guys at?
We're right off of Bell Spring, like the Soham line, Mendocino County.
Oh, nice.
Hello.
Hey, Nicole.
Hello.
Hey, Aaron.
How are you?
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you digitally.
Very cool.
Hey, Kel. Are we having severe issues all the way around here?
No.
Oh, hello, sweetie. We had such a nice lunch the other day. What a beautiful family, you guys.
Thank you. She wanted to see what was going on.
Right on. Well, you know, it's all a part of why we work so hard, right?
Isn't that the truth?
It's all for the kids.
Yeah. So, Nicole and Aaron, I'd love for you to meet the rest of the team. You got to say hi to Kelsey because she opened up the room for us, and she's the one who's really taken a lot of our community's information and designed all the way Canopy Right works and looks like for us. And Jeff is the amazing corporate attorney with an amazing heart and vision that made this happen.
We go way back. We met on Wednesday.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we learned a bit about your guys' strain that you called your bread and butter, your Camp OG. Why don't you a little bit more about your background with that plant and the story?
I'd love to let everyone know, like, your guys' story, how you got into life with the plant as well, you know, your own stories around that.
All right. Well, I will let him, I call him Woody, start just because his becomes before mine, but it is integrated. So, yeah, why don't you start how the champ began?
Oh, okay. Well, it started all the way back probably, I think it's like 96, playing disc golf. Love to play disc golf, and we ran out of weed, and we were asking some fellow discers if they had any herb, and fortunately they said their buddy from Humboldt was coming down, and he'd be down there in just a few minutes. So we played a few more holes, and then sure enough, ran into them a few minutes later, and their buddy from Humboldt was there, and he had some beautiful herb, and
he called it OG Kush.
He called it OG Kush, and it was like it basically was the first time I'd heard that name, because this was a long time ago. So.
And what year are we talking?
96.
Nice. And we had just graduated high school together. He was smoking herb. I was not. I went off to college in Santa Cruz. I fell onto harder drugs there and actually, joined the opiate crisis at that time. And by 98, I came out of rehab, went back to my best friend. We ended up falling in love again from junior high when we met. He showed me the way with cannabis. I was able to kick the heroin with no permanent effects. And then I also didn't go through the regular program of methadone and all the barbiturates and things. I didn't go the Western side. I went cannabis side. And so that's what gets us together in 98 when we started growing. And we were growing, by luck, that bag of weed that he bought at the Grove after high school had a seed in it. And he labeled it and called it OG Kush. And so we cracked that in the indoor room.
Yeah, back in that early 98.
She was a female, thank goodness.
Yeah, luckily.
We kept her as a mom, along with cloning her to see how she did, and she performed well for us. An OG, but robust. She's not real stringy, and as we know OG to be.
Right.
And so we bred her for a long time inside.
Yeah, we ran it for a few years, 5 years or so, until a lone friend came in from the East Coast with some pollen, and we're like, pollen, what's that?
I never seen it before. Didn't even believe what it was or what he was doing, but he asked if he could pollinate the plant or, a section of, and we, of course, obliged.
And it was chem dog pollen.
Yeah, from a friend of New York. And sure enough, seeds grew, so he told us how to do that process. And those seeds then grew, and that's what we started calling Champ.
Wow. So you guys got a really nice OG cut because it was stout, right? It sounds like it had good bud structure, and then you crossed it with a real chem dog. Nice. And it's nice. I smoked it.
Yeah. It performed really well. We went from inside to outside because of space. And then we had to graduate from Sacramento, where we originated, up to the hills of Mendocino, where we are now. We, dealt with a mentor, as lucky as we were, and they had an amazing OG Kush. And we all decided to basically cross the OG Kush they had with the Champ we had, which we were basically calling OG Kush 2 at the time. And that's now what we breed in the hills outside, and it's the Champ OG. We've been breeding and growing her since 2012 in that form.
So by putting their outdoor developed OG with your indoor developed yummy, cool structure, you guys created something that rocks. And so how many years have you guys been curating that rockin' cultivar?
That we're going on 10 years now.
Yeah.
11 years
11 years this year.
Have you seen it? That's a really, that's a beautiful amount of time to watch one cultivar in your space. Have you seen it get more and more robust and stronger and tolerant over the years, or what has that been like, that experience of watching that?
Correct. Yes, it seems it's pretty mildew, pretty mold resistant, bug resistant. It does seem like it has developed over the years to its environment.
Yeah, that is. We have all this delay here.
Yeah. And who's going to speak? But we've always called our Champ OG adaptogen. I don't know if that's a medical term and we're not allowed to use it, but to us, what it represents is what it can do, one, in the field, and it can adapt to its conditions, and then two, what that high does for you. It adapts to each person's need by their individual need. And what I mean by that is most of our friends, clients who have smoked, this typical strand has admired the fact that we joke about it. If you were, lost on a deserted island and you only had one strand to smoke, what would it be? And everybody says it would be the champ. Because in the morning, if you need it to be your morning strand, it can be your morning strand. But at night, if you need it to be that kick-ass, punch to sleep, it can be that too. So I don't know how she does it. I don't ask questions if it's not broke. She's just that.
Right on. And when you guys were transitioning from indoor to outdoor, how long did it take you to get it stable, to get those two together and stabilize it so you knew you could really rely on that crop?
To be honest, I think I was, pretty confident within 2 years.
Yeah, from the beginning, you could just tell it had something special on it.
The way it cloned even, it had a 90% clone rate from the start. And we were like, is this just magic or is it beginner's luck? But it continued to be consistent. So,
the more science looks at plant medicine, the more all our woo-woo from our culture and, that kind of perspective gets validated. And what I keep seeing over and over again, that the farmers and the breeders always know what the best plant out of their garden, because intuitively the relationship is so precious. You've been growing this same being for 11 years. How can you not know?
Yeah, it's like a child, as you know, and you learn her in and out, her ups and downs. And there are all of that throughout the whole
it's definitely ups and downs,
evolving process.
How do you guys, I know I would love to share with people, because I think part of, you guys have a lot to educate. You've been really kind of advanced in a lot of ways of how you're building your company. And it also helps us show the value of Canopy Right to folks, in the hills. Could you talk a little bit about the movie, the blunts, the genetics, and how you're bringing that all together around the cultivar?
Yeah, we've been lucky.
Yeah, they also elaborate on how many people you switched over to.
Started
smoking weed again.
The high school sweetheart situation. We were at a high school reunion, obviously the same class, same party, and we meet a friend who we're friends with in high school, very close, but it's been 20 years. And she happens to be a writer, director, producer, and amazing at that. She's got #1 Netflix movie. And she is telling me about this project she's doing about blunt. And it's this movie she wrote, and it's intense and enticing. And she wants to bring me on as the blunt specialist in order to have an authenticity to the look and to, the way the character smokes and the way that the product interacts in her movie. And so I immediately took her up on the offer. I had to use on the set for the movie props. But I have to say, through the process of a month living with these people and working 12-hour days with all types of people, I was able to bring people around who had stopped smoking cannabis, who were like, oh, it gives me anxiety attacks, I can't do it. And then after seeing everyone enjoy themselves, bringing them over and being able to share our organic cannabis there and having 4 or 5 people turn and literally say, OMG, I understand regenerative farming points. I understand organic farming, putting love into it, small scale craft. They have been fed all types of corporate weed, indoor chemical, not understanding where the medicine comes from and how it reacts with your body. And I get chills just talking about it, because these are now lifelong friends, and it really solidified to me what I'm doing, which I came home from the movie pumped up. Trailers are going to be out in May, movie's going to be out in July, and I was able to showcase this hemp wrap blunt that I created for the movie, brought it home, put our cannabis in it, and now have been, what I'm going to, toot my own horn and say, rocking people's worlds with. We put the Champ OG in it. It's a nice organic hemp wrap. It technically looks like a cigar, and it is just an amazing product. It, holds well in a glass, and it has a nice spiral filter. I know a lot of people go with glass, but we're about the whole organic, leaves no trace. It is biodegradable, and its flow through that filter gives you like an even smoke throughout the entire blunt. And I call it a blunt because of the movie and because of what it represents and what it looks like, but it is tobacco-less. It's going to be, legal on our market. And we're just really excited about it. We're wholesale flower farmers joining the retail market, but we're excited with the movement we have and the product we have, and are just, full of love and energy about this.
And they are real. You've done, I've smoked a lot of blunts, and I do like the glass tips because I think the paper tips tend to disrupt the flavor profile. And I smoked 3 of your guys' blunts, and I smoked them all the way down to the paper because you're right. You've done a really good job on sourcing those other pieces, and it was very. You've done a great job. That's all I can say. I think you're going to do really well with them.
Thank you very much.
What's the experience like? I think the first time I tried Chem Value was definitely like I'm gonna organize all of my kids' toys and art supplies, and I'm gonna just keep cleaning until I fall down of exhaustion. But I don't know, like that's just my experience, and it's one of many people. So I guess my question is like, what's the experience of this one like? Now that we've got the tester and the creator.
Well, and as the breeder, I would say it's just this robust flavor from beginning to end, and a euphoric high for me. I down a whole one. Some people take a couple hits and set it down, and it's like a session thing or something that can be shared. But I just love the feeling I get. It's calming and relaxing. It helps me with my anxiety, and it just really, once again, kind of creates the balance I need in why I would be medicating at that moment. It just is adaptive to each situation. But Lele, what did you think? I mean,
well, I smoke a lot of blunts. I don't like buying pre-rolls because I'm so picky. And I was impressed. No, it really, usually I like the paper that's more like leaf looking for flavor. But you told me that you felt the paper had, and it did. It was really tasty. I also liked that it had that OG, I don't know, spice funk to it, but it had some flavor as well. So, I mean, I smoked all 3 of them in like 2 hours, you guys. I'm not kidding.
I love blunts, and it's that robust flavor that I don't get with a pre-roll or just a joint. Now, he hates tobacco, hates blunts in general. Description of smoking it would be...
It's reminiscent of a blunt. It gives you it tingles your lips like you are smoking a blunt.
Totally, yes. And it gives you that sweet,
Yeah.
And we just had it tested with the lab because we were blown away by how reminiscent it was with tobacco, just making sure. And no, it's hemp. It is, I guess, just the thickness of the paper or the flavor of hemp. We're more in the cannabis department, so we're learning about that too, but it is a nice delivery for the cannabis.
I think it's also your genetics and the flavor profile of all of it combined. I definitely do. And the tobacco makes me cough. And yeah, I smoked it all the way down to the paper. So it was pretty dang delicious and good. So did you guys? That's the cultivar that you guys put into canopy, right?
Yes, we put the canopy right in. We've been working on the new lab results with the phyto facts here, and just getting all of the information in with the terps. It's such a unique profile, there's so much to describe on it. And then with the story, obviously, the story in itself. So a lot of information, but that's what we love about the program. You guys have done an amazing job. It's so user-friendly. We are not computer people. We're pot farmers. And it's so easy to do, and the way that you've written the contracts are easy for us as farmers to understand what we're asking, and the information areas to elaborate on all these details that make up what Champ OG is wonderful. Once again, getting chills, because what you've created is really something, and I think it's going to give a future to farmers like us to have an identity.
Highlights a lot of what everybody's doing. It's showcasing that, because everybody was from the black side, which was keeping everything secret and was scared to show it. And with this, you're covered because of how you guys have done it legally.
You're protecting us. You've literally,
and you're protecting us and showcasing us. So it's a win-win.
Can't thank you enough.
I absolutely love it.
We are proud to be a part of it, and I think that this is just the beginning for breeders. We're not even really breeders. We're just old pot farmers that have crossed over into this legal market, and we have parameters, and we all hate them, and we're just lucky to have had this kind of what we call our bread and butter, and been kind of nursing it, and we've grandfathered it into the legacy program with Metric, and we've just been fortunate. Not everyone, did all the things we did to get licenses. When we did, you had to raise your hand and say, I've been committing a crime. And Woody and I easily said that, like most people didn't, because we had a case in 2014. They dropped right out of the sky and changed our life and the thought of cannabis forever. And this is legalities. Got a sour taste in everyone's mouth, but yet here we are, and it's giving us a new light on what we do, and it gives us pride and protection, and that really is something that I don't think any of us farmers,
something we've never had before.
Pride, yes, but the protection,
right.
And to think that we could have a level playing field and something to go off when all these corporations are trying to make something out of what they can't. You can't. Oh, we have two puppies roughhousing. I apologize. You can't make terps out. You can't get these test results and these profiles over the night weed. You just can't, So it is an honor to be a part of this, and we hope that the blunt and this Champ OG really gives us an opportunity to compete.
What kinds of things are you seeing on the PhytoFact?
So, on this specific PhytoFact test, sorry, where did it go? Right here. Okay. We were nice to see, I don't see a terrible print or whatever, but the levels of myrcene and carfilin are extreme. They're in the 0.4, 0.6, and then they're followed up with the humulene and the laminin. Excuse my pronunciations, I'm terrible. And there's many more little ones in there, but those are our main ones. And what it's saying to us is that we have an earthy, citrusy type of aroma, and it's got the camphor in it. And I think that's what gives it maybe that spicy kick too.
That lip tingle.
The bluntiness.
The little entourage of effects gives us the area where it's like relax and calm. And obviously those are our main areas. I find it a little focusing. It tested small on the focusing, but maybe that's me loving the strand so much and having such a deep relationship with her that I still find her what I need her to be for me. But by this, relax, comfort, and calm is what she can bring you. And I would say that, those are pretty true. It's just dive in.
Sometimes also herbs, it can be the smaller ones, the ones that show up in really tiny amounts and make all the difference in what
and I'm
makes
still
it unique.
learning what all those are through this process and through, I mean, there's so much information. We have like little, cheat sheet of terpenes, and then we have the cannabinoid area, which shows the different levels of the THCA versus the CBGA, and obviously we're
the CBGs, the CBNs.
Yeah, there's CBG, CBNs, so many
THCD
levels that I had no concept of to dive into to show the uniqueness, and then also to find the different medicinal factors. The antidepressant, the antioxidant. Can't even speak. It's just insane how much there is to offer, but it really starts with educating ourselves on these test results of the DNA of the plant and what it has to offer.
Well, when you guys are ready, when you get your portfolio all set up, let me know and we'll get on the phone and we'll talk about that.
Yes, we want to be the ones who take you up on the offer of a wonderful deal and get that DNA test done, because I know that it will be incredibly informing and just dive us deeper into things we don't even know.
Yeah, getting that extensive, comprehensive DNA profiles are really helping us educate how valuable these outdoor, strong foundational cultivars are. It definitely we haven't seen it be a lost cause or, not worth doing so far. I think there's a lot to learn from it. And from what you guys have done with yours, I think it would be really interesting to see. What we're seeing is that some of these cultivars are mutating and creating unique alleles, and we don't know why. Or is it the environment? Is it the process? What is it that's actually creating these mutations? So we really got to look at all of it right now, because we don't know what is what when you start looking at it from the medicinal scientific lens. So
exactly, we've all
your guys' results. What was that, Jeff? Sorry.
Oh, it's also just how different what's in your garden is from what you can buy from the store. Like, Leila and I were on a podcast the other week where the host was telling us that he had a guest that said that there are only actually 10 strains of weed in the store that you can buy, and everything else is just like variations on the same theme. I haven't independently verified any of this, but just being able to show that the universe of cannabis is so much more expansive than what you can buy when you go to your local dispensary. I think it's just going to blow people's minds
already. So Jeff and Kelsey and I got to see the live phone app for the first time today, you guys.
Kelsey,
it is really cool to see the genetic diversity and the amount of genetic diversity in there. Like, you go into a lot of these platforms that are showcasing our flowers, and like Jeff said, there's not much like diversity in that. Well, you go into cannabis, right, and it is there. It really is, and that helps all of you within the system to hold each other's hands and lift each other up, because you're all putting such beautiful things in there. So you're making the guy next to you look really good too. So thank you for being a part of that, because that's part of what's making this so incredible, is you and other community members putting their most precious things into this database. So thank you for that.
Without your, legal background and without your technology of organizing and all that, honestly, I don't think we would feel safe doing it. So the fact that you've created something is now pushing us into rocketing us into this new age of cannabis farmers no longer seeing each other as competitors, but seeing each other once again as neighborly friends, and to say, look at my apples, look at your oranges, look at all our nuances, our fruits, and just celebrate our differences, which I think is what, the world's all doing in general, every industry.
And make even more magical things, because now you guys are all looking, you can see it all, right?
Yeah. And we can educate other people, because people who don't even understand cannabis on these type of levels, someone who just goes to a dispensary and consumes, will still appreciate the education they receive from this movement that you're pioneering, basically, because of the protection, to then enjoy all of those fruits of those labors, which is organic, sun-grown cannabis on the market with full terpene profiles and all types of information, so they can choose what they want for their needs and really be just an informed buyer. I mean, look how many lotions, look how many shampoos, look how many deodorants. It's the same thing with cannabis. To try to put us in 6 to 10 boxes, it's undoable, and this celebrates that it's undoable, and people are going to really be enjoying what's coming.
Yeah, and it goes beyond, I think, the uniqueness of the strain into how well you know it. You guys have been growing this, as you said, for years. You're going to have the best advice on how to make it the absolute best that it can be. And that kind of information, that kind of consultation is really valuable, and can save companies a ton of money on their R&D cost. And so, providing a way for you to not only showcase the unique values of your cultivar, but also your unique value as the seller of that, it was what we're built in.
And the idea that you guys are going to be able to scale, and it's not through, some middleman or some distributor or some guy who, found a seed in the bottom of the baggie that he bought in the parking lot. It's going to be you, and that's going to allow you to distribute your medicine all over the world eventually, but it's going to be exactly right because everyone knows who the creator was. And that's
only,
really our goal.
Only really the creator can, I think, share it. You can protect it and we can share it, but like you were even talking about, what are the different synchronicities of the weed and the microclimates, what's put into it, growing it, what they experience, music, just as a child growing up, all those surrounding atmospheric, conditions are what makes it. And you can still teach that though, but it just still comes from the creator.
Duff,
we got a question in the chat. Is it affordable for the home grower? It's free for the home grower, and will always be free for the home grower. So if a buyer wants to scale your genetics, as a home grower, we're not allowing that to happen yet on the list. But if you enter into a transaction with the buyer will pay all of the fees, not the creator. And that's just how we've set it up. And then we charge admin fees on top of that to the buyer, but only if you enter into an agreement. So if you're just using the marketplace, you're just showing off your work, you're just creating your own private archive, we don't charge for any of that. And that's really important to what we're doing because yes, we're processing transactions for a fee. We're in this to make money. This isn't a nonprofit, but we're also providing a service. That's important to us.
Yeah, and it's a service a lawyer might grand for. It costs $40 on canopy rights. That's like 98% off.
But it's just great as a farmer to be protected and not be charged for the protection. Like everything's been push towards the farmer, take this on, take that on, you want to be organic or, OCal or any of those clean and green and I want to do all those things, but all these things cost us farmers money. And this is the one thing that I've come across that makes our lives actually easier and puts like a future into it. And it doesn't cost us money. It's insane, you know, but there's promotion in it because you guys were all in it to make money, and we're just here to educate the public so they can spend their money properly on what they want, whether it's the public or the big companies. But the cataloging of it is insane. And to do that for us farmers for free is absolutely amazing. Thank you.
I think everybody that's on this team, even the tech team, sees that our culture and our experience has immense value in the future, not just financial value, but like when we talk about this plant saving the world, we need that genetic diversity. And we all feel quite impassioned by the need to help not just protect that genetic diversity, but to empower the cultures that created those medicines. So it really is a heart project. You know, it's a business, and it's amazing to have Jeff be such an amazing lawyer around business, but also to be a visionary and a man of big heart, to put the effort into creating this for us. It's just incredible.
Well, thank you, but we also don't have any outside investors. It's only friends and family, which is really kind of like what's allowing us to keep it free. So I know somebody in the chat the last time talked about like our corporate interests. I mean, I'm a corporate lawyer, that's what I do, but this project has no corporate money associated with it at all.
Grassroots, I love it.
There, you guys, I mean, I don't know how many of you listening or the two of you know about like this conversation, but most companies out there in the cannabis space that have actually launched something can't really say that. And this is so important because it is our genetics. It is the seed to everything that Jeff has sacrificed a lot and done a lot to ensure that we can come out Monday with this amazing thing and not have any of those attachments. Full power in the leadership's hands of this company. So it's pretty exciting. And there's another aspect to it that we don't talk about much, but since we've mentioned the corporate word, you know, as we were developing this, it was how can we protect everyone the best way possible. And some of the things that have happened in the industry is that companies have made promises, and then they do have to take on the big money, and then they have to change their promises. Well, Canopy Right was designed so and if a funder came in, doesn't have access to your data. So we can't leverage your data for funding. We can't change that for funding. It'll always be that way. That's how the system's been built. So it's just really built with a lot of integrity.
Right, Keith Seedco said that's brutal. I don't know. Our lack of institutional funding.
It is brutal.
It does feel brutal.
But we're all pretty strong. So I would love.
Built with the encryption in the back end, so it's built on their hashgraph blockchain, in a way that when you log in, you're basically being able to see everything that you put in there, and then when you log out, no one else can see it. It's all encoded and encrypted. And if you want to showcase when you're ready your cultivars, you can set it to public, but Canopy Right can't see anything except for the end price if you do a contract with someone, so that we can charge our fee out of it, but we can't see any of the data. We can't see who the transaction was between and what it was for.
So we have in all of your settings, you can toggle things from available in the marketplace marketplace or private. But if you want something to be held private, it's kept private even from us. We can't see it. We've purposefully walled ourselves off from any transaction records. So like Kelsey said, if somebody owes us an admin fee, we'll know somebody owes us money from the grower, but we don't know why. And that's just part of the security measures. That's why we are very vocal about making sure people don't forget their passwords.
Yeah, you can't. There's one backup key phrase you have to put yourself, and don't lose it. The other aspect of it is you keep the plant sample in your own freezer. You don't send it in to any centralized place. Once you do have that copy yourself, and you can make other copies to keep it at grandma's house or whatever. Once you have that copy, you can then go to whoever you want to get further testing to really understand the fingerprint of your genetic. So if you wanted to go to medicinal genomics, LeafWorks does some work. There's a bunch of different providers. We don't ever recommend just one or demand just one. Canopy Red is really just a way for you to have your own time-stamped, immutable record of your genetic before you create contracts off of that.
Cryptocurrency?
There's a question about cryptocurrency. Do you want to take that, Kelsey?
Sure, yeah. So even though our project is a blockchain-based project, there's actually no cryptocurrency involved. So it's up to the two parties who have created a contract on Canopy Right to initiate like the transfer of plants legally and pay each other the way we currently do,
Yeah.
however you like.
One day we will allow people to pay each other using cryptocurrency, but it's on the list.
Yeah, if you have anything for which cryptos you would like to use, let us know so we can plan that out and build that. But yeah, and we're looking at ACH payments also, which operates similar to debit cards and e-checks, I guess. And yeah, we're looking forward to building something in that will facilitate the transfer of payments, so it makes it a bit easier for the people involved to get paid.
I think banking's becoming a little more easier for us cannabis folks, and I think they're realizing it's just a regular transaction like most businesses have. The regulation on that and the tracking of that, I think, is to evolve.
Yeah, and we'll evolve right alongside it. We're watching out for the banking laws to change and other laws too. I mean, right now it's limited within state lines still. And hopefully we'll see some changes. Right now, nurseries are the only people allowed to sell their genetics. But we're hoping cultivation licenses can gain that ability soon as well.
Everyone in California, especially because it's really the most ridiculous state along this conversation, please write your local decision makers, your state decision makers around this conversation, because everything is such a mess right now. There's a lot of opportunity for change, and the state did just issue $20 million. They're issuing $20 million worth of grant funds around these conversations. So let's ensure that the state doesn't just get all this information and get to utilize it. Let's make sure that you guys get policy changed so you guys can get your genetics into the new market.
Exactly. And we have all types of policy change that needs to be happen, and I believe that it can, especially on things that make sense.
Yeah.
For the livelihood, for the perseverance, for the, longevity of this craft cannabis.
Well, in California, we got the power of the conversation as the small farmers by being collective yet individual voices to those policymakers. And we need to keep using those individual yet collective voices so they get new and diverse ideas to build better policy for us. If we all just sit and complain about it and we don't send that email to our board of supervisor or our governor or our local legislator, we're never going to get what we really need. And it is a disaster in California. I'm on the phone every day with folks that it's a disaster, but that is time for great change. So let's make it go change our way.
Yeah, through failure becomes change, and change is progress.
That's right.
I'd like to talk to Matt's question here about blockchain-based projects that have had security breaches get hacked. And our project is different, as most of the projects that you're referring to are scammers creating their own cryptocurrencies and stealing people's money out of their wallets. And because our project doesn't deal with cryptocurrencies, you don't have a wallet ID that you have to put in to give someone access to funds that you own. Basically, the security that would that we even deal with is just a matter of the statistical probability of someone being able to decode the encryption. And it's just very statistically, it's basically statistically impossible for anyone to unencrypt your data that you've stored in Canopy, right? And what they would be after would be the documentation of your cultivar and not money related at all.
We should definitely do another one of these with Craig and Dave, so that we can. So Matt, we should do one of these where we answer specific tech questions, because we're not the technical side of the operation.
Like what I got, one of the big things that I tell people about that I got from those guys is that it's not just a hashtag. It's a hashtag ledger blockchain system. So it uses 3 types of ways to encode and protect, which is why it is so statistically impossible to break the code.
Yes, and Hedera, if you look into it further, you can see it's the entire system was built by a mathematician at Carnegie Mellon, I believe, and the way that he built it to be sure fast as well.
I didn't hear what you said, Kelsey. Can you say it again?
Sure. If you look into Hedera Hashgraph, which is the blockchain we use for encryption, you can learn more about the nerdy details behind why it's so secure.
I was on a call this morning to some breeders in South Africa, and one of the breeders that was on that call said, "I'm here because I know you guys are smart because you used Hedera blockchain." And I went, "Yeah, right on." So it's definitely a respected blockchain for all that stuff.
We got a question about how does this work with non-registered cannabis fellows? Do you want me to take that one, or do you want to?
Go with a scenario, yeah.
So the commercialization features are disabled for unlicensed users for now, until the state of California changes its position. Obviously, the DEA said cannabis seeds are hemp, so the state of California's flag doesn't really make a lot of sense legally or technically. But anyway, that's what we're stuck with. So that's kind of like how we've designed this. But we do allow any home grower to use this system to either create their own private archive of their genetics or also to participate in the marketplace. We just won't process any transactions.
Meaning you can
still protects
show
you.
your portfolio.
Yeah, still shows who you are.
Did we get to all the questions so far, you guys? I think we did.
I think so. I hope so. But if anyone wants to discuss any of this with us one-on-one, we're happy to do that.
Yes, reach out to, you can see Jeff's Instagram through this. You can see mine, and Kelsey is Kelsey Parker, but you can also reach all of us through this Instagram or go to the website and send the email in. But everyone on this team wants to be really accessible because we're building with you. This is all a new industry. I would love to, before we go, we have like 10 minutes left, to hear what you guys see for the next year for yourselves and the farm, and how people can find you and find more about your cultivar and more about your flowers.
And where to buy your blends.
Hopefully, we'll be able to share with the world this cultivar, starting with California this year. We're hoping to be in at least 20 different, dispensaries, and you'll see Blunt coming out really soon. You got to give it a try, but ultimately it's going to be a fight. I know I have a smile on my face because I try to do that as, a defense mechanism, but this is a fight of our lives. We've been in a fight since we started. We're going to battle until we can say we're on top. And I don't know what that is, but it's not what we are now. And so we're evolving, we're changing, but we're really going to get distribution out into the Bay Area, out of Sacramento, because that's where we were born and raised. And we're going to stand behind our product and keep cultivating love and, regenerative organic practices on our farm. And we're really going to try to push more with the, laws, and try to support the fact that we would be able to sell our clones. If not, try to link up with some kind of nursery that then would be able to facilitate the missing link. But, we want to be a part of that. We're going to write to Congress people. We're going to be on the calls. We're going to advocate for all the changes that need to be made so everyone can even grow the Champ OG if they want to grow that themselves. But until then, please, when you see it in the club, Blunt, when you see Champ OG in an ounce flower bag, try it. It's him and I. Who are you supporting? And it's
just these couple hands.
These little hands here are the ones that touch every single nug that comes off this farm, and we're proud of it, and we would love to share it.
And you've got us inspired. We're going to start digging out all of our old seed stock and start busting out some new cultivars. We've had some stuff in the works, but we kind of slowed down because of all the legality stuff and just having to get what everybody wanted. But now we're going to go back to the old school and getting the uniqueness back out.
And that's what he said, what everyone wanted. We've been growing since legality for what the people wanted. And what the reality is, it's about us and our farm and giving what we can do best here to the people. Not trying to compete with others, things that we're not good at, things that we could strive to do. We're wasting time and energy. We know what we can do well, and we're going to keep doing that.
Beautiful. That is the way of the hill. That is just beautiful. Well, you guys are doing a great job. Do you have a website where folks could reach you?
We do. I'm sorry. We're emeraldcityfarms.com, and we also on IG, we're emerald.city.farms.com. The other Emerald City Farms was us, but thanks to hackers, we have one of those weird accounts. The ones with the dots are us, and it's a very small amount of photos or even followers. We encourage anyone that wants to show us love because it's hard building that back up, and we're really just trying to share our story, trying to show you what it is on the farm this year and what it takes to grow the Champ, and even the mission and the journey of how we're getting it to the public. Start this, stockpiling images and taking videos. We're not good at it, but we're going to show the whole journey because we are on the cusp of delivering it to the public. And it's just something we're proud of and really hoping that it receives well in the public.
Well, I sure wish you guys the best of luck. I think you're going to do amazing. I know that the cultivar is amazing. And when you've got that and so much heart and perseverance, here we go.
Well, thanks to you guys. I feel it. Let's go. Let's go, champ.
Well, if anybody wants to learn more about Canopy Right, you can reach out to Jeff, Kelsey, or myself, or right here on our IG, Canopy Right, or go to the website. But we are literally just a few days away from taking the beta code off the website, which is www.canopyright.com. And you will be able to register. Anyone can register as a home grower and go in and check it out, upload some cultivars, or just check it out. But if you'd like to take a look before or have any questions, please reach out, because we really do want to see this empower the community. Jeff or Kelsey, any last words for all of our lovely folks tuning in?
None for me. Have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend. Work hard. Enjoy your life.
Enjoy Jerry's seed swap. If you're going, there's a great seed swap happening in Cloverdale this weekend. Go check it out. Great farmers are going there. So do go check it out.
Good deal. Well, you guys have a good one.
Thank
Very
you.
good talking.
Gratitude for everyone.
I can't wait to come on the farm and see you guys